and a very good evening to you. You're watching Times Now. I'm Pratibha. First up, let's get you details of the big story that has captured the imagination of the entire country. Whose pride and prayer will the Supreme Court listen to is the only questioning that's lingering on the minds of every individual. The Supreme Court heard arguments on a batch of pleas seeking legal recognition for same-sex marriage. The advocate representing the petitioners thundered that the test of popular acceptance is not enough to deny one community's fundamental rights. This comes just a day after the centre had labelled the batch of pleas as urban elitist concept. So this was a statement that came in with the Supreme Court also observing that gay relationships are widely accepted after Article 377 annulment. In fact, the CJI also said that it is essential to give the LGBTQ community relevant social institutions. Now, D.Y. Chandrachud asserted that denying social relationships, that is the basis of society, I beg your pardon, is unacceptable, and that gender is not a concept of where genitals are. It is far more complex matter than that.
See, what happened that now is matter is pending in the court, and I'll take few minutes or few hours to hear what finally it comes out. But this is a wrong time when regressive forces are in command in this country. There is hardly room for such voices. That is what.
You know, the world is advancing. New ideas are coming. You cannot fix in the past. New things are coming, new ideas are coming, and new generations are also coming with these ideas. In the context of the growth of the society and their understanding in the whole world, international things are also there. In the basis of that, I think this should be considered. But how it will be done, court will decide. Cultural ethos of the country, cultural ethos of the country for uniting the people and the communalizing the society, it is in favor of the ethos of the country.
तो वी फील दैट्स अ नेचुरल प्रोग्रेशन. बहुत सारे देशों के अंदर सेम सेक्स मैरिजेस को लीगलाइज किया है, वो इसी तरह किया गया है. सो इट्स अ नेचुरल प्रोग्रेशन. जजेस से वी हैव हाई होप्स एंड एक्सपेक्टेशंस. ऑब्वियसली वी थिंक, वी आर होपफुल कि कुछ ना कुछ इसके अंदर राइट्स क्रिएट किए जाएंगे, चाहे वो सिविल यूनियन के फॉर्म में किए जाएं, चाहे स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट में कॉन्फर किया जाए, या ओवरऑल फुल स्पेक्ट्रम राइट्स दिए जाएं.
So is this the beginning of a big change that we're about to see in the country? The statement that was made by the CJI has been viewed in different ways by different communities. Let's open this up. Pramila Nesargi, lawyer and activist, joining us on the broadcast. Harish Iyer, equal rights activist, also with us. First, want to take this across to Harish Iyer. How do you view these statements that have been made by the Chief Justice? His statements being viewed as a ray of hope, yes, but there has also been some opposition to it. In his statement, he went on to, deny social relationships being a basis of society, whether it is acceptable in society or not. And more importantly, and this is one of the biggest key takeaways from the Supreme Court hearing today, he said that gender is not a concept of where your genitals are. It is far more complex than that.
I think what he has actually stated is the obvious. If you know the difference between sex and gender, sex is assigned at birth. So if you're born with a penis, you're called male. Sex assigned at birth is male. If you're born with a vagina, sex assigned at birth is female. If you're born with ambiguous genitalia, or which is again a spectrum, you are intersex. And gender is over here. Gender is what you tell the world that you are. Right? So gender is not in your genitals, and he has just stated the obvious. That is the definition of gender. So if you'd ask me, is that something very historic he has done? No, but probably in that auspicious space, the utterance of the difference between sex and gender was needed, and I'm glad that gender in its holistic form has been that the CJI has an understanding of gender in its holistic form.
But is India ready for that kind of a change? Ms. Pramila Nesargi, this statement also comes in. I want to take this across to Pramila Nesargi because this comes in after the centre had also said that gay marriages are an urban elitist concept. Ms. Pramila?
Can I
Yes,
answer you?
yes.
Madam, the first question that you posed earlier, the first question that you posed, about the observation made by the Honorable Chief Justice of India. He speaks about the gender. Chief Justice, he speaks about the gender. What is gender? It may be a female or a male, but there is a third gender, that's a neutral gender. Which gender is meaning? It's a complex indeed. When we talk about the same sex, can there be a neutral sex marriage by themselves? Can there be marriage amongst themselves? What we mean by it? See, after all, marriage is the union of a man and a woman. Anything abnormal is not valid. Anything abnormal is not conducive for the benefit of the society.
Okay, but the petitions are, I want to take Mr. Harish Iyer, anything abnormal. The marriage is only between a man and a woman, and this, so what the center, a stand that center had also taken, marriage is only between a man and a woman. Anything else is abnormal.
Miss Pramila, first of all, one thing is very clear, Section 377, we have gone through this whole circle once during Section 377, the Indian Psychiatric Association, the American Psychiatric Association, the Indian Psychologists Association, all of them have said that it's absolutely natural to be LGBTQIA+. Okay, so, and when you speak about union bidding, so what are you trying to say? That we just feel love towards somebody, but we can't legalize that in terms of a marriage? What if me and my partner wants to live together? What if me and my partner want to live together and we want to have legal rights so as to that if at all I'm dying, my partner would have the right to say whether my oxygen mask has to be removed or not. Presently, that right is given only to a legally wedded wife, right? So I think from a larger perspective, and I think India as a society is an accepting society. Do not consider the idea of India so small. India is a big country. India is a country of a big heart. India is a country where people accept people of different diversities, different sexualities, different genders, different castes, different religions. We are not a homogeneous society. Our constitution.
Okay, and also the fact that Article 377 has been annulled. So, Ms. Pramila Nesargi, is this the natural progression there towards same-sex marriages to be accepted by the centre, because Article 377 has already been scrapped?
No, I am not worried about this one. The subject is, can there be a same-sex marriage? Whether there can be same-sex marriage. Could it be called a marriage? After all, it's a relationship. Even now, there is a thing called living in relationship. A man and a man may live together, and that is only a living in relationship. What about a person who is an important? Can you call him? See, what is
First of all,
where is the question of marriage? Where do you mean that an important man can have
but if the centre is ready to accept it as a relationship, if 377 is scrapped, then doesn't same-sex marriage become the natural progression? That's my question to you, because Section 377 has been scrapped already, so you're accepting gay relationships. So the natural next step would be marriages. So you're, in this sense, the centre seems to be saying that relationships are acceptable, but not marriage in Indian society.
Not the question of relationship or marriage. Can you call it a marriage is the question. There are gay persons, they are lesbians. I am not telling you that has been in existence for years. They are there. The question is whether they can be equated with the law of marriage, sanctity of the marriage. Could it be called a marriage? That's the question. They can be of a different category altogether. You put them in a different category. Not a man and a man or a woman and a woman. They are different persons. Man and a woman is the marriage. between man and a man and between woman and a woman. It cannot
Harish,
be called
very
a marriage.
quickly, but you know,
That
Ms.
cannot be
Pramila Nesargi
recognized
is
as a
saying what the
marriage.
centre wants to
Give
say
it a
is that
different
relationships are acceptable but not marriage, because marriage is completely different. It is considered you know, holy union, and it is an institution of marriage which is not going to be acceptable in the Indian society. Though the government has accepted, of course, same-sex relationships, it's not the same. Marriage is a whole new ball game.
My country is a country that respects plurality. My country is a country that respects people who are different. My country is a country that expands its rights to every individual, because that's what the constitution of my country. And as a patriot, let me tell you that today and every day, I will remind everyone that everyone is entitled to a life of dignity. And if you do not give me the right to marry, I'm not saying, okay, not the Hindu Marriage Act, not the Christian Marriage Act, not the Muslim Marriage Act, under the Special Marriages Act. What is marriage under the Special Marriages Act? It's basically the legal right for a person to call another person their spouse, which simply means that it comes with various other rights that will follow, whether it's the right of inheritance, whether it's the right of pulling the plug when someone is
So
died,
marriage is a question of rights, as had been argued in the top court. Thanking you both for joining us. But of course, in the Supreme Court today, the Chief Justice saying there's no absolute concept of man and woman, whereas the centre has said that these are decisions that should not be taken in the top court, because this is not the representation of the entire country. These are decisions that need to be taken in the parliament. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast, for bringing us both the views on that. We're shifting our focus now to another big story in